what's up everybody? Welcome back. Psych here. And today I'm going to be sharing 4 LPs, continuing along with what I've picked up since February. Let's see, I got 2 online and 2 pickups from the local shop. And the 2 from the local shop are from the same collector or collection that I got Dragonfly from. So kind of dive deep into these, I think, and we're just going to do the 4 LP formula. And it's kind of split up between 2 different genres, you could say. The first 2 I'm going to dive into are more on Baroque pop side, kind of the light side of pop. And then the other half is Texas Psych. So let's dig in. So we're going to start off with this one. This is one that I picked up online, and condition was, I don't know, a little undergraded, but it still plays fine. It's just, I got a good deal on it at the end of the day, but may upgrade down the road. Not real sure, but picked up a little gem here that I've been wanting a long time. This is The Floor with their album First Floor. It's on the Philips label. This came out of Denmark. I think it was only released in that country. I could be wrong. I think it might have been just Denmark. But no reissue that I know of, LP-wise. It might have been released on CD later on, but this is actually the band The Hitmakers. They had started like in the early to mid-60s and kind of known for their beat pop sound, you know. And then this is kind of like them under their alias, The Floor. 1967, you know, I don't know if this came out maybe after Sgt. Pepper. I think so, because this thing is definitely Sgt. Pepper influenced. I mean, it's got a whole kind of conceptual flow about it, the way the songs are written, and you know, someone could mistakenly think this is like a UK pop group as well. It's definitely heavily British influenced for sure. Just the way the vocal harmonies work, the whole production style, and they got these kind of like very tiny hints of like freak beat in the mix. But for the most part, this is Baroque pop, I would say. It's got a lot of horn sections, but not in the way that, you know, might be distracting for some listeners. It's actually very, very well tasteful in flavor. But yeah, it opens with the track Damned Little Fool. It was one of their singles, and it's a great opener. My favorite track that's on rotation all the time is Nevertheless, the 3rd track. And that track alone is what I love about British pop psych. It's got a very whimsical, very kind of wimpy, soft pop psych kind of vibe to it. A lot of harmonies working in it. I could listen to that all day. Kind of reminds me of the record by Manfred Mann, Up the Junction. Some of those songs are kind of in that same light. Love that style. Like if I had to choose one style I could listen to all day long, it's that kind of sunshine pop stuff, like sunshine Baroque pop, a lot of harmonies, background harmonies with some good lyrics. Sounds like they hang out in Piccadilly Circus all day long. Love that style. And I'm trying to look for a UK original of Up the Junction by Manfred Mann. If anybody has any hookups, I'm trying to hunt one down, but on eBay, or not eBay, Discogs, been asking sellers for photos. Some don't send photos, and some are under the condition I want it to be. Having a hard time with that one, but I'd like to have a UK press of that, even though the US on Mercury is pretty cheap. I want to get that thing on Fontana. I think that'd be kind of cool, but love the film as well, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, the other big highlight for me, A Rainbow Around Us. It's got kind of that upbeat, you know, kind of freak beat style maybe. Very light in that style. I mean, as far as like the rhythm section goes, but it's got kind of like an Eastern guitar thing going on. Turn It On, it's very upbeat, nice dance number on here. So there's definitely some surprises on here. You know, I think the more you listen to it, this is going to hook you in a little more. So highly recommend this one, The Floor. It's kind of a hidden gem, I think. Show the record here. Record does look pretty ugly, but I don't know. I'm definitely going to get an upgrade on this. It's on the blue Philips label. It's got some nasty scuffs, but it plays through. It's a pretty strong disc, but um, there's like consistently kind of soft surface noise throughout. But surprisingly, this record's pretty cheap yet. At the end of the day, I mean, as far as like thing of it, records of this ilk, you could see records like this going for, 300 to 400 bucks. You can still find this under $100 US. So scoop it up if you can. And then this is one on the cheap end. This is one I kind of discovered myself, and I've seen no one talk about this online when I searched it up. There's very little about this, very little praise. And this also needs an upgrade actually, but considering how cheap it is, I just haven't jumped on board to pick up another copy, but there hasn't been one in the US that I know of that I've searched out. But I uploaded a few tracks of this record on my other channel. This is Trevor Gordon with his album Alphabet. This is a former member of the Marbles. It's like a folk duo from the UK, or not UK, it was a Aussie group, Australia, on a Polydor label. This is his one and only solo record, and wow, if I had to recommend any record from this video to you guys to seek out, this is the one. Not one dud on this thing. Every track was awesome. It's very minimal. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on as far as like, instrumentation, or it's not very over the top. It's not going to hit you over the head with all of its, garnish or whatever, all garnished in these effects, but it's very kind of a minimal folk pop, but it's got its fuzz breaks, and it's got some nice string arrangements, nice harmonies, very catchy hooks. And I uploaded some of the better tracks online, and I think there was only one other upload on YouTube besides mine, but as you can see, it's peeled apart, laminated cover. But the record, though, claimed to be VG. It's a little under that. You'll hear on the clips I've uploaded, you'll hear some, like the worst is on the track The Goodbye Story, which is like the best track. Of course it has to be, the most damaged track. It's got one jump skip in it, but it sounds worse on YouTube than it does on my stereo. But looking at the disc, you wouldn't think it would be so bad, but yeah, I need a little upgrade on this. But thankfully, got this for like 10 bucks. Now's the right price for this, man. No one's talking about this. This is very good. You guys love that kind of folk pop, catchy hooks, sort of in that Bee Gees light. It's very late 60s Bee Gees inspired, and it makes a lot of sense because Trevor actually played on some of their early material back in the day, and they actually collaborated on a single in like the mid 60s, I think 65 maybe, and wrote Trevor a song. So they definitely were good friends, and you can definitely tell just by the melodies on here, and it's got a lot of great stuff going for it. And sadly, this is just forgotten about. So yeah, if you can pick this up, I mean, the cover doesn't say a whole lot, he's just standing out on the shoreline, but this is very, very good. Check it out. It's on my other channel, Cosmic Minds. So, starting with the other half here, wink, other half. So yeah, like I said, Texas Psych, man, this stuff came in. This was actually being held for me at the shop with the collection that came through with Dragonfly. I picked up even more than this, which I'll be sharing down the road. I picked up the Stooges, which was part of that collection as well. This is American Blues is Here. This is their debut album on a Karma. There's a few different reissues out there. I think there's a very identical looking bootleg that came out in the 80s. It's like very, very similar. You have to like really look close at it to identify it. But yeah, so this is a 10-inch LP style, which is kind of strange. I wonder if Karma at the time were low on funds and they didn't want to press the thing like 12-inch, considering it's a short LP. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the 10-inch style, but hey, if it's in the shop, I'll pick it up. I mean, I've been kind of wanting this record for a while, but kind of debated on getting this issue online. Never really wanted the 10-inch version of it, but an original is like pretty spotty in prices. You see a lot of copies going for like 500 plus in different countries, and you never see them in the US, it seems like, so it's about my only way to go about it. And it's a pretty strong LP overall. I mean, American Blues, that title right away can like scare people away. I mean, for me, it scared me away for quite a while, but yeah, so this is pre-ZZ Top. You got Dusty Hill, Frank Beard on here, and you got Dusty Hill's brother on vocals and guitar. Pretty tight band starting out, Got a lot of tight grooves on here. The first two tracks, If I Were a Carpenter, their version of that is awesome. Probably my favorite track on here. A lot of great, like, chaotic drumming on there, a lot of tight bass licks. And then the next track, All I Saw Was You, kind of starts off where that track ended on. With all these vocal delays, got a lot of effects running throughout. Very gritty, very dirty Texas blues, man. I mean, it's kind of blues oriented. You definitely have some straightforward couple of blues tracks on here, but there's also a couple novelty, sort of ragtimey tracks which really bring it down. But if you just ignore those cuts, I think the stronger material outweighs any bad cuts on here. And then my other favorite, Melted Like Snow, kind of reminds me of Christopher on Metro Media. The way the folk rock sort of aura moves throughout that track. It's kind of a more moody cut. And love the drumming on here. Frank Beard's drumming is excellent. I got their other record on the Uni label, which I think they're both pretty solid. I mean, they both have their handful of tracks that, don't work as well, but started out pretty strong. I think their second album is a little more folk rock oriented, but still really good. And just a little more accessible to find than their debut. So I'm going to end with this one. So this band, it's kind of hard to believe that they finally ended up in my collection all these years, This is one of those cases where I said to myself, I really want to hunt those originals down. May not happen, but I mean, as far as this one goes, this might be the easiest one yet. But even 10 years ago, I remember it was like $150, $200 record, and there's been several times I lost bids on this record. Almost had an original of this. So this is 13th Floor Elevators, my first Elevators record of any kind. So yeah, just like I said, I love the band. I just always wanted to seek those originals out. And if I had one holy grail at the top of the list, it's always been Easter Everywhere. It's just to find a nice stereo pressing of it, an original, but it's just the light is getting further and further away, to hunt those down, So this is a Charlie reissue. I think this came out in like early 2010s, maybe 2010, 2011. It's a 2 LP set. So the first disc is like alternate takes, instrumental takes, alternate vocals, stuff like that, and tracks I didn't even put on the record, which I do think feature Rocky Erickson as well. So at this point, 1969, when this got released, the band was pretty much out of sight, just deteriorated afterwards, after Easter Everywhere. But there's something really magical about this record as well. It's got that, it's very gritty, it's very murky, it's very dark. And at the same time, it really spotlights Stacey Sutherland's writing and playing on here. And he is my favorite member of the band, Stacey, and sadly we lost him too young, But I love this record. This is very much underappreciated Elevators LP. It's very overshadowed by their debut, especially. I love the debut album, but I'm in that small percentage of people that do not care for that jug, you know. I mean, the jug works pretty well. Easter Everywhere, I think it's a little more in line with the rhythm, whereas the debut, it's just kind of floating every which direction. But yeah, the second LP is the standard record as well, replicated just like the original. The blue here. So when it drops in the shop, you know, I couldn't say no. I had to pick it up, and it gave me a good deal compared to some of the online prices lately. It's been kind of climbing up in value since it's the 2LP set here. It's climbing up to 80, 90 bucks, I think. So yeah, very thankful to have this one. And yeah, Rocky's only on 4 tracks, I think. And then I think the rest of it's like just a trio working around overdubs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's got a very dark, murky sound, kind of West Coast flavored in a way. It's got that kind of jam band style going on. And it's, what else? I was going to say something else about it. Oh, I think international artists themselves added like some horns into the mix. It doesn't really work, but I kind of like it. I just like that they shot for that direction. It does not fit at all. You know, on the first track, Living On, you can barely hear the horns, but I mean, it's whatever. But yeah, the track Living On, fantastic track. I mean, there's really no weak moment on here. Rose and the Thorn might be my favorite off here. Street Song, Dr. Doom. May the Circle Remain Unbroken. It's got a very haunting sound to it, considering the fact it's the last track of their last studio record. It's a very haunting, kind of a mystical track. So yeah, can't praise this one enough, man. This gets a lot of love over here. So yeah, if anybody wants to shoot me their OG Easter Everywhere sometime down the road, I'll shoot you an offer. That's one of those records, man. I will pay up for it if the right copy came along. But yeah, they're just getting, I mean, they've always been hard to find decent shape, it seems like. You know, with the whole felt cover with the whole sun diagram on there, and the ring wear and the spines, they're not holding together well 50 years later, so makes sense. But yeah, anyways, fantastic record. So coming up, I don't know what's next, but I'm definitely posting more on Instagram as well. You guys can follow me on there if you like. I'm under Psychedelic now as well, so posting every day. Sometimes I'll post records you won't see in a video first, and vice versa. So I haven't shown Elevators or American Blues yet, so that will be coming up the next 2 days. So hope you guys are doing well. It's blazing hot today, so I turned the air conditioning off just for the video, just for you guys. But I still have a fan on me. Yeah, it's finally up in the upper 90s today, so I got a little sun today after work, but it was actually not too bad. I had a little breeze out there, so that always helps. So anyways, take care. Let me know what you guys think of these finds, what you think of Bull of the Woods, and we shall see you soon.